Hey guys, what's up everybody? It's your boy Ron, aka Ron the Artist, coming to you live, and welcome to Ron's Recap. I'm here today to recap and review the TV show Snowfall on FX, Season 5, Episode 6, titled The Iliad Part 2. And it was a good episode, guys. It was a good episode. I was intrigued, beyond intrigued at that ending there, that cliffhanger. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Okay, so I know this vlog is it's a few days late, but we here now. Let's get into it. I've been busy all week, so let's just get into it. Let's get into it. The episode started with Franklin and Gustavo, waking up with a tiger in their face, and Franklin pretty much losing his shit at that point. Like, they're about to be tiger food at that moment. And no bueno. After screaming for help, Franklin, the lunatic man that put them in the cage in the first place, came out to their house and was prepared to feed them to the tigers for breaking into his home. Franklin tried to talk to him, tried to bribe him, but he wasn't for it. He didn't believe him. He was like, nah, this ain't it. So as he attempted, to let the man attempted to let the tiger into their cage, the door to the tiger's cage was stuck. Mind you, there's two different cages, or at least one big cage with like two different doors in it, like dividing sections of it. From Franklin and Gustavo's cage up here to the tiger's cage up here, and the tiger was ready. So again, the door to the tiger's cage got stuck. So the man went to climb on top of the tiger's cage to fix it and, pull it open. And Gustavo saw an opportunity to kick the cage, to literally grab like monkey bars at the top and kick the cage, making that man fall. Making him to someone fall into the cage, and his right leg fell into the tiger's cage, and the tiger instantly broke his leg off and started to eat away. I was gagged. Like, what? I was like, oh my God, the graphics of that damn episode of that tiger was real, because the fact that that tiger real deal bit and just pulled off his leg and went eating away was, oh, no. So the tiger went eating away. In the midst of that, the man dropped the keys to the cage into the tiger's cage, at least on the tiger's side of the cage. At slight grasp, and it was at slight grasp. The keys were at the slight grasp, but not close enough for Franklin to grab it. So Gustavo was able to pull the cage door open a little bit for Franklin to grab the keys, while the tiger ate the man's leg in the opposite direction. Like, man, that is crazy. Crazy. I just am stuck on that. Still stuck on that. That was crazy. So, after the keys were obtained, they escaped it instantly and quietly ran off, as they should have. As they escaped, they kind of made this plan to, jack a car so they can get away. And the moment they were about to get ready and do that, they ended up noticing the people that were looking for them, the gang members, who were still looking for them. And I just cannot believe that. I'm like, man, these folks are still looking for him. And it's nighttime at this point. They done lived a whole lifetime since, and they are still on the look for them to get this money. They ran into the street again. The Hispanic gang members, that were looking for them, they pretty much found them. They thought that they dodged them. They saw them, each other from afar. They ran behind cars and thinking that the gang members was gone. But, as they saw them riding past, they hid and, until the next car came, not realizing the next car was them again circling the damn block. They was trying to jack a car, and it backfired. Little did they know, it was the people that was looking for them ready, locked, and loaded. Ready, locked, and loaded. And they got out of their car, all guns drawn. All guns drawn. They asked where the money was at. Franklin told them they got jacked for the money. The gang members didn't believe it, so they tied them up and put them in the trunk of their car with duct tape. At that moment, I'm like, whoa, the plot is thickening. Like, again, like, just this show, like, you guys know this is my first season coming on to the show, and I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued with this Snowfall FX. Like, the plot is really thickening, and I'm just like, okay, what is going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And the writers are good on this show. For sure, for sure, for sure. So next up, the gang members took Franklin and Gustavo to a tattoo shop that they clearly had ties in. It appeared that a specific woman, owned the tattoo shop, telling them to clean up after themselves because she had to open the shop early the next day. And on our way out, she grabbed a young boy, the gang member, that little young boy with the slick back hair, ponytail, whatever. The gang member grabbed his face in a caring manner, kind of like this, and he kind of pushed it away. So it was kind of giving implications that she probably was his mother, and Franklin took note of that. Like, okay, I see who this is. So on to the interrogation. This main man of this gang, or of the guys, he put on thick gloves to then punch both Franklin and Gustavo in their faces after not cracking the whereabouts of their money. Like thick gloves. And he was punching hard as hell too. So, at that point, the next scene where Leon and his homeboy brought back the suspected strippers behind the setup madness to Louis and Jerome's club at gunpoint. And they didn't get very far, somewhat crossing off the girls because they were too hostile and made a point that they could have been set them up if they wanted. Meanwhile, Peaches is still all of this is going on. Peaches is still MIA. So making him still a prime suspect in the madness. So off they went looking for Peaches. Peaches was MIA. Spoiler alert, MIA for the entire episode. And still no sign of Peaches. And I don't know. Okay, so the next scene, back to Franklin and Gustavo. They're still being interrogated and brutally beat by this main man until one of them came in with food, giving them a moment to eat. As they were to go into another room, Gustavo saw a poster with a person's name on it by the name of Aunt Tisha. He tried to use it to his advantage to connect with this main guy, but it didn't work. He told them when he got back from eating, that one of them better talk or else. That gave Franklin and Gustavo all of 30, 40 seconds to try to talk. Because that man came back quick. Like, dude, you pretty much swallowed whatever food they had just in 1-2 gulps. So again, I gave Franklin and Gustavo all of 30 to 40 seconds to try to talk. But it didn't last long. Although it appeared that Franklin had something up his sleeve. He thought of a plan. Franklin told this guy that he can show them where the money is. They don't know the address, but they know where it is or whatever. And they left it under a house or near a house. The main man said that that's fine, but Gustavo had to stay behind for insurance. And he agreed to leave him behind. And at that moment, I'm like, what does Franklin have planned? Because this could get real sticky and real messy. So I was a little appalled. I think Gustavo was appalled too because he's like, man, I don't know what you got planned, but the fact that you're about to leave me behind to go pursue this plan, like I might not ever make it out of here. So back to Louis and Jerome's club. Stripper girls were at gunpoint by Leon's guy, just holding his gun up at them, just like non-stop like that. Like he was real hostile and just overly hostile, like just ready to shoot them girls down. So again, you know, he had them at gunpoint. Meanwhile, Veronique and Sissy were talking over drinks at the bar, talking about Veronique's past and how she got into, quote unquote, the business, or at least of that life. Apparently, it started off for her as a kid with her mom scamming and scheming. Her mom taught her the game early after the death of her father, freshly after the death of her brother. She said it started off fun until it wasn't, traveling the world with it, with not knowing the whereabouts of her mother at that moment, of that current moment, not knowing where the whereabouts of her mother due to that her mom's clearly on the run or something of the sort. Traumatic. It's kind of traumatic, like, I guess she enjoyed her childhood a little bit. Like she said, they were always traveling, and she spent an entire summer in Paris, you know, lying and deceiving passports and papers and stuff, and they could have real deal got that girl in trouble as a young girl. So back to Franklin. Franklin took the gang members back to the Tiger House. We won't call it the Tiger House. Telling them the money was in the back of the back. It was in the back near the cage. They took him as they went to inspect. Once they got back there, the tiger was missing from the cage. The cage door was still open, and then boom. Boom, boom, boom. The tiger attacked one of the men, as the main guy already had his gun drew on Franklin. Like, where the fuck is the money? The tiger then attacked the main guy, and he started shooting the tiger. The main guy started shooting the tiger, and Franklin took the opportunity to knock him out as his back was turned, ultimately making an escape as the tiger feasted on both of them. So Franklin ran back to the car with a gun to hold that teen up, that badass gang member teen that got him into the madness in the first place. Got him into the madness in the first place. What's his freaking name? I wrote his name somewhere in here. We'll get to it. We shall get to it. Yeah, we shall get to it. But that damn badass team, you know, you ain't got no business in no gang. That, like, you need to be getting the education, doing something. Clearly, and you got somebody out here that clearly loves you or cares about you because your mom is a working mom. And I'm assuming that was his mom. So, he got out there and put the kid, you know, held him up at gunpoint as he was the one still in the car, in the front of the car. You know, put him up at gunpoint and forcing him to get out of the car. As he should have. That was probably the right moment. So back to the bar. Louis delivered the news that Jerome had a location on Franklin and confirming that, you know, Franklin's livelihood is still valid, and he got a call from him. Meanwhile, the strippers wanted to leave as they had babysitters on duty, but Louis was like, no, I'm not having it. She was like, because they still weren't cleared at the moment, she told them to extend their sitters on the phone and make some calls to get word on who's possibly behind the hits and what's going on the streets. So off they went to go do that. Meanwhile, Sissy said a few words to Veronique, telling her the hard truth about the life. You know, basically to be ready for whatever, because the life isn't guaranteed in the life. The life isn't guaranteed in the life, I wrote. She said a little bit more stuff in depth, but I wrote that pretty much like the life isn't guaranteed in the life. Your life is not guaranteed in the life. People are not guaranteed in the life. So Veronique, we have to figure out if she's going to deal with that or not. Period. And that's an interesting fact, actually. So Jerome ended up pulling up on Franklin as he waited in a low-key spot near payphones. They quickly touched bases on the drive-bys as Franklin went to the trunk of the car where he had Clever, was the little gang thug little boy, Clever. Well, they had Clever, the teenage gang member. He had him taped up in the damn trunk. He left Clever the keys, dropped the keys on him, and then shut the trunk door back. It's like, yeah, make your way out of here however you need to. Here go the keys. And him and Jerome, Leon, and Franklin then rode off at that point. They pulled up to get to Gustavo, which I was worried about that. I'm like, you left Gustavo back there, and they don't tell him who watching and doing what back there. So what's up? They pulled up to get Gustavo. At that moment, Gustavo had a gun to his head by the two gang members, as they were impatiently waiting for over an hour, they said, as they were waiting for the others to return. As car lights approached the building, the gang members went to the door, and one was instantly knocked out by Jerome. Meanwhile, Leon had the other one at gunpoint on the ground. Yes, they gained control of this situation. Franklin freed Gustavo from the duct tape and gave Gustavo the option to kill the two gang members. But he walked away and was ready to go home as they left. That was big of him. Gustavo had the opportunity to take these boys' life as they were about to take their lives multiple times. But he chose not to. He said, let's go home. Free him, let's go. We've already done enough, clearly. So they left. They ended up going back to the house where the money was left. So as Jerome and Leon collected the money from under the house, Franklin and Gustavo connected, assuring each other's trust from one another after the day's event. Prior to that, neither one of them trusted each other, especially since Franklin thought Gustavo was in on the Reed/Teddy spying on their initial transaction or whatever. Apparently Gustavo knew nothing about it. I'm not sure what that means. Like, at that moment, I was just like, I'm not sure what that means. Like, does Gustavo mean he's been betrayed or something? Or, like, he didn't really say much if he didn't know. The question is, did he really know that Teddy/Riley was spying on them? Maybe, maybe not. And then, if you did know, what does that mean for Gustavo? The two questions. So as Leon and Jerome returned back, they drove off to see. They drove off trying to get out the neighborhood to see the loose tiger making his way to the streets during the night. That loose tiger, I cannot. They all returned to the club, trying to clean themselves up as they drank at the bar. In came Gustavo's wife, worried like hell, as she came to pick him up, and all peace was restored with Gustavo for now. Franklin told him to hit him up after hearing from Teddy, and off him when his wife went. It was cute, because his wife was worried. She was worried. She came to pick him up, and like, dude, just come on. She hit him and everything. Hugged him, hit him, everything. Just all that good stuff. So meanwhile, the search for whoever behind the hits continued. The stripper girls are still wanting to leave to attempt to find Peaches, but Jerome is sure that Peaches isn't behind this, as he's still in Miami. So the girls were still in holding. Franklin said, his goodbyes to Veronique as the crew went to find Peaches to get to the bottom of things. So again, this is where I'm like, okay, Peaches, stuff just seems to kind of keep pointing at Peaches. So what's up? What's behind this? To Teddy, a.k.a. Reed. The scene where Teddy and Reed, he's still at that nurse's house, healing, damn near hallucinating in a bed of hers. As she cleaned blood from her kitchen, listening to music, she heard him just pretty much kind of going crazy on the bed, just hallucinating. And I don't know if he was having withdrawals or what was going on, but she injected him with meds to calm him. Weird, and it was weirdly done in a weird interaction from him and her. I don't know, like, what is her deal? I don't know what is her deal and what is her approach to all of this. So back to Franklin. Franklin took his crew to the trap. I'm assuming to his trap house. I'm assuming that was the trap house he took him to, or like some type of storage or something, which was completely empty. He said only 2 people know of that place. And Franklin said he was one of them. So I'm assuming the 2 people were Franklin and Peaches. Franklin and Peaches. And if Franklin didn't empty it out, and Peaches did, or they told somebody who emptied it out. So they continued to speculate, and they knew Peaches, if he did that, he didn't do it alone. So the courts continued. Who and why? They all went their separate ways, needing to get rest. So off they went. Off they went. Heavy on Franklin. Man, face so bruised up at this point, it ain't even funny. Franklin went home thinking he was going to go home to probably a nice bed and a bath with Veronique. Little did he know, she was gone. Took all her things and left a note behind for him. Like, left him. Like, Tina Turner left him. Like, she didn't get on the bus or nothing, but she left him. She took that baby of hers, pregnant in her stomach, and left, knowing the next day was that ultrasound that Franklin was looking forward to. Awkward. So the next day, early that day, Franklin went to see Javi. As I call it, the weapon god. He went to go see him to get some advice from the OG. And honestly, I'm not sure how to feel about Javi's words that he said to Franklin. It started with him talking about, the friend who died, the friend who died in that madness or that drive-by. In comparison between him and Franklin about how Franklin is intelligent and business savvy and XYZ. Meanwhile, a guy like him, speaking of Javi, is always at war with somebody. And I don't know if he felt like he was always at war, like Franklin felt like he's always at war, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to take of that moment. But he did make that comparison. So on to Jerome. Jerome chatted with Louis. They trying to negotiate a deal for a drop or whatever. Jerome feeling some type of way about this Peaches situation. Because apparently he brought Peaches into the circle. In spite of him being Franklin's guy, he brought him into the circle. And Louis assured that it's not his fault. That convo between the two ended up ending with the meeting up with the dude, in regards to a drop for somebody by the name of Trey. The convo quickly went left, though, as Jerome didn't like his response to Louis in regards to keeping their ear to the ground. The dude was like, yeah, I heard about what happened, da-da-da-da. She's like, yeah, it happened, but we need you to keep we need all ears to the ground to find out what's what. And dude was like, yeah, whatever. So what's up with the drop? And Jerome didn't like that. He's like, yo, did you hear her? Like, yeah, I heard her. But Trey wanted to know what's up with this drop. So that erupted into a brawl. Jerome beating the living crap out of him at that point. And I'm just like, dude, what now? Like, things is getting hot. Things is already hot with y'all. Y'all don't need to keep making more enemies. Come on, Jerome. I don't know. Jerome kind of losing it at this point. And he's ready to kind of get out of the life, too. You can tell. He's ready to get out of the life. And sidebar, Louis is super sweet and nice. Like, again, this is my first season watching it. So I don't know if the last season she was more tougher than what she is. But she is super sweet and nice. And I also feel like she kind of looks like Brandy Evans. The one that plays in P-Valley. P-Valley, she plays as Mercedes. Brandy Evans plays as Mercedes. I feel like Louis looks a lot like her. Every time I look at her, I'm like, okay, she looks like her. It's in the face and everything. So, back to that weird nurse lady with Reed/Teddy. She's cleaning Teddy up while continuing to bribe him and raise her price up with more money. $500K was not a new price for nursing him back to good health. And it got even weirder when she hopped on top of him to kiss him, like claiming she actually wants him as well. Then went to go get a phone as he requested. He was like, what do you want outside of money? What do you want? And she hopped on top of him and told him, like, you're not married anymore. wanted to make a move back when, but you were tied up, and it's weird. It's a weird moment. Weird moment. So later, Veronique is at the doctor, for the ultrasound without Franklin at first. He showed up just in time as the doctor confirmed a baby with a heartbeat, bringing him to tears. Sentimental. Veronique Veronique excused the doctor to talk to Franklin about the decision to keep distance between them due to the chaotic world and not wanting any parts to it. For the baby's well-being. And that ultimately crushed him. I could tell. I can't blame her, though, because at this point, she's in danger after she warned him about that, and the baby's health is in danger. The baby's well-being is in danger because she's in danger by being around Franklin and the madness that comes with him. So I don't think that she's wrong for leaving Franklin. Maybe how she did was a little abrasive, but she did what she did for her. She did what was best for her. And Franklin got to accept that because now a war is about to start, and shit about to get real. And I wouldn't be surprised if Veronique somehow get caught up in the middle of that, especially if the detail comes out that Veronique is pregnant with his child. I'm just saying, like I said a few vlogs ago, that I feel like Veronique, her character, she's going to end up in the middle of something. She seems to be the innocent one, even though she's kind of in this business for the sake of Franklin, because it's their business. Somehow, some way, she's going to get caught up in that madness. And it's not okay. It's not okay. So, Franklin got to make a decision at this point. Like, I know he's not ready to get out of the game right now, but if he wants to be with Veronique and come closer toward her, he's going to have to get his shit together. No ifs, ands, or buts. Period. So on to Franklin and his crew, back at it again, trying to see the information gathered about who came for them. The stripper girls got word about someone by the name of Kane being behind this madness, being behind the shootout, the hit. Everyone knew him but the strippers. Apparently Kane just got out of prison when no one knew. He was an old friend of theirs, or at least somebody that, from their past. So off they went to go seek him out. Franklin and Leon quickly tracked him down. They tracked Kane down. They found him at a kid's football game. Kane, his energy was woof. Like, he was very calm. And just, his tone was very calm. Kane, was too calm about the interaction and his approach. But ultimately, that man is ready for vengeance and ready for whatever. Apparently, he lost a cousin first that was working for them, and lost his little brother to Franklin's operation while locked up. Imagine that. You lost your little brother and your cousin. Your cousin first that he couldn't get to because they wouldn't let him go to the funeral from prison. So, you found out your brother also is gone due to this operation. You're angry at that point. You didn't even want to go at that point, even though you probably could have seen your brother. He said he knew not to go because he knew he would mess around and probably get more time and be angry, so he waited and strategically plotted. And waited for his return to get out so that he could fuck shit up. And he's pretty much came hard already. Again, coming hard, ready for whatever. He said and that man was so bold about his next situation. He said, it was like, my apologies about, coming at your mother or whatever, the way I did. But next time I'll make sure I hire better people to make sure they don't miss, that they come correct. I was like, he want all the smoke. So he ready to hire people to really take out his mom. So again, if he ready to take out his mom, Veronique definitely is going to somebody get caught up in that. Definitely. And this man is like, I lost some of my family members, so he's kind of ready to take out some of his, Franklin's. And that's unfortunate. And ultimately, I'm intrigued, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen next. Peaches. I want to know where he ties into that. Obviously, they got intel from Peaches. As in, Kane got intel from Peaches about whereabouts, who's who, who's doing what, what's going on about Franklin's operation. But is he still alive? He even brought that up to him, like, did you come at Peaches or Peaches came to you? And he didn't really respond. He's like, I thought I taught y'all better than that. He's like, you did. That's why we're not coming at you on the who or raw stuff. Kane. Where Franklin said to Kane. And stuff is about to get real. Kane is ready for war. And he just let it be known that he ready for war. And he let it be known too that he ain't hiding. And that he coming for him to his face. Oh, that's what let me know that this man is ready. And he's no play to him. So we shall see what happens from there. Again, this week, I can't wait till this week's episode on Wednesday. Again, I know this vlog is kind of late, but we're here. We're here. And yeah, I can't wait until Wednesday to see the episode. So until next time, guys, it's your boy Ron, aka Ron the Artist. If you're watching this with me right now, we're live on Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's pre-recorded and taken from Instagram Live. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, like, share, comment. Let's talk about the recap. Let's talk about this review. Let's talk about the episode. What did you think? What did you like? What did you didn't like? Same thing applies to Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. My links can be found on my profile and in the descriptions. My social media links can be found in the description of each video on my page. Let's chat. Let's talk about the episode. Let's talk about the review. Until next time, guys. Peace.